a lot of times survivors don't have a choice, unlike what people think. If it's your boss who is sexually harassing you, you don't have a choice. Either your job is at stake or your reputation is at stake. And it's very hard to speak up at that moment, right? I've also seen people who were ready to speak about it, but because the industry is so small, they knew that if there was a backlash from that company, and if they had to leave and go to another company, they would know about the situation. And they did not want bias in their hiring. The perpetrators do have a choice, and they make that conscious choice of assaulting somebody in that situation. And I just never understand, how do you feel to do something to a person who's lying on the bed dead drunk? There is just no intimacy, right? There is just no active exchange, participation. There's just no actual consent given by the survivor.
Thinking about that reminds me of the Bill Cosby case. Some people were saying that actually if you were drunk, you're not feeling anything, so it's actually not as violent. But to me, I think that is just so wrong. I mean, you didn't even give the person a chance to put up a struggle. It's really crime at its worst to me.
Absolutely, and it's horrible to compare one survivor's experience of horror and violence with another person's experience. It's absolutely wrong to say that a person who's drugged may not experience as much pain, but sexual violence is about loss of control and bodily integrity. So whether you're drugged or you're not drugged, it can have very similar traumatic impact on a survivor. And you said something about being able to struggle. In fact, our experience is quite different. A lot of times, survivors are not able to struggle. They freeze in that moment. That's because your body recognizes that you are in this state of threat, and it can freeze you at that moment. And that leads them to blame themselves, that maybe I didn't give a clear signal that I did not want it. But here's where we psychoeducate them and say, look, it's possible for you to freeze. And in that state, when you freeze, it's a good enough signal to a person who's trying to have sex with you that you don't want sex.
Yeah, I suppose if you're in that situation where you're beyond struggle, you know, you're pinned down, there's nothing you can do anymore, you probably just want it to be over.
Absolutely. I even had a case where somebody, when she was being raped, was thinking of a situation when she was happy. She imagined that she was on a beach or a very happy situation. When you talk to professionals, you'll know it's a form of coping at that point of time, right?
It's a coping mechanism that people adopt, right?
You dissociate yourself from that state of fear and go to a place which feels more safer to you. So it's not uncommon, these reactions which people think cannot happen. Would you be comfortable sharing about what was your experience like? Did you fight, flight, or freeze?
It was a director who came to my apartment on the pretext of auditioning me for a show, and also because I had just got a new apartment, and so he was like, oh, he wants to see my apartment. And this is somebody that I've known all my life. I've known since I was like 15 years old. I've always quite adored this director. I thought that, you know, he was such an amazing person. And when he started to force himself on me in my apartment, I mean, a lot of thoughts went through my head. A part of it was like, I don't want to hurt this person. Actually, you know, this is someone that I actually like and respect. And then other thoughts were like, but I don't want this. So I actually said no a few times, but then he pushed me into my bathroom and carried on. And in the end, I just gave up. And you know, when you talked about that freeze moment, I think maybe that was what happened in my head. I think I just froze because I realized that I couldn't fight him off, and I just gave up. And I just, in my head, I was just thinking, let this be over quickly.
Right. This is a very, very common reaction that a lot of survivors shared with us. So it's normal for you to have reacted that way. What I feel personally very angry is when the first responders around you would say, why didn't you punch the guy? Why didn't you just run away from your own apartment?
Yeah.
Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And it's just so hard. It's so hard. I mean, if I had to ask you, Deborah, what was going on in your mind after he possibly left from the house?
I just avoided him for a long time, because every time I knew that he's going to be at a particular media event or whatever, I just wouldn't go, because I just didn't want to have any contact with him. But the thing is that he behaved as if nothing ever happened. He would, when he does see me, and some media circle is such a small circle, he would come and give me a big hug as if nothing happened. And after kind of quite a long time of this, like months and months of this, when he realized that I've been avoiding him, he texted me and asked, are we okay? And I was just shocked and surprised, like, didn't you know what happened?
Right.
And then he was like, no, I mean, I thought it was all fine. I was like, no, which part of no didn't you understand? He made it seem like I was reacting to something that was just in my head, and I almost like questioned myself, and did I imagine all this? Did I do something wrong and make him think that it was okay for him to do what he did to me? The next time that I saw him, he gave me a kiss on my lips. And then I was like, I thought we talked about this. I thought I don't know how to get it through to him that it was not okay.
You have got it through to him that it's not okay, and he still chooses to not respect that. Right? A lot of times in workplaces, some perpetrators may do this to their subordinates but would never do this to their own managers. They make a choice to use somebody's vulnerable situation to make use of the trust that's between them, and actively choose not to respect somebody's consent. So in your case, I just don't doubt, Deborah, you said no during the assault. You told him over messages. That's like hard-coded evidence, right? That
but
you don't
he's
appreciate.
so clever, because he's a very clever person. At no point in the message exchange, right, did he admit it at all. And he knew, I think, that I might use it as evidence. So at no point did he admit that, oh yeah, I'm sorry that I did that to you. I think the closest he came to saying sorry was, I'm sorry you felt that way.
It's pretty clear to me that he knew exactly what he was doing. If it was an act of intimacy, I think he would have responded to you very differently on a phone or a call or the next time he met you. It wasn't your fault for what happened. I don't see anything that you did wrong. You did everything right along the way. You responded as normally as your body could respond to that situation. But he continued to push the boundaries. He continued to disrespect what you wanted and you didn't want. And you said you knew him since
15, 16, around that. I was like a teenager when I met him.
Right, so he took advantage of a relationship that was built between the two of you.
We would really love to hear about your experiences and thoughts. Please leave them in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, and also find us on Instagram and Facebook. And more importantly, please share this video with everybody you know. You might actually really help somebody just by doing that.